How's it going, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is going to be my second video that's it's got the same picture, right? So, the first video was about space and time is all relative. This is going to be a fairly short video because I would like you guys to use your imagination of what you think that the I think I can use my mouse here, my cursor. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. If you look on the top right-hand corner, if you look at the Pisces Aquarius cusp to the Pisces Aquarius cusp now, you can see that the last 13,000 years, roughly 12 to 13,000 years, we were in this negative part of the cycle. And if you think about our history and, before the last 12 and a half year or 1,000-year cycle, that ice age that broke off the last advanced civilization, we kind of started into dark ages. And then, you could even say that Noah's flood was roughly 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, which is kind of half of, it's a quarter cycle of that total solar cycle. So it'd be what? It's the fall equinox in that cycle, which would be what? The halfway between the Leo Virgo cusp and the Pisces Aquarius cusp, which is what? It's like the Scorpio Sagittarius cusp, I think, right? Is that right? I don't know. I think so. Um, so think about that first. Well, let's say that was the age of Aquarius in that first part. And I was just listening to a Joe Rogan interview where he was talking about the how the Bible gets a lot of times gets misinterpreted. Think about, if you were living in a time where you witnessed or had texts of the old civilization that was lost as the solar system went through the galactic plane. And the start of the Bible is roughly, if you think about how the Bible is created, it's roughly that, this last 13,000 year period. So it's kind of that's why the Bible gets referred to, and it's one of the most popular religions out there. It's because you're creating a living testimony of the struggle of man as it's feeding off of each other to get back into a higher evolutionary state. Let's assume that the Aquarian age obviously was a more enlightened, higher advanced civilization that was in the positive side of this sine wave. And so their creative energy was at an all-time high. What created the conflict to move back into that? Because everything that's happening on the outside is happening on the inside at the same time. Imagine the top of that sine wave where you've got, it's the spring season, right? From the Pisces Aquarius cusp, just like now in the small cycle, we're moving at the beginning of the spring season where everything's going to start to bloom and blossom. Think about how that moves up into the summer solstice, which is where it runs down. Because if you notice in the springtime, everything blossoms, and then it gets to full, everything blossoms totally, and then it stays that way for a quarter cycle, which is from the top down to the summer solstice. So that period of time, it slowly starts to decay, right? Because you've got heat, and after that blossoming period, the flowers slowly start to wilt until you get to the summer solstice, and then things start to turn brown, right, into the fall equinox. The same thing would happen with a civilization as it bloomed, right? So if you look at our cycle, you're looking at the decay rate for a big evolutionary change to a blossoming cycle. But that breakdown of the body, it's like an old organism is dying, an old structure is dying, and a new structure is being born. The same thing happened at the last Pisces Aquarius cusp. So I have a feeling, and this is just a hunch, but there are a lot of soul groups, and this is one that I feel a part of, that were at that stage of the last Pisces Aquarius cusp, that were moving an old organism that was breaking down into something that was going to blossom into a positive spring-like cycle on this planet. We haven't had this for 26,000 years. And so the Bible was kind of a history that showed some of that cycle. And so the Bible is basically an eternal document which shows the second half cycle of the full cycle. Now, we don't have any books. Well, you could say that there are old texts, like there are Hermetic texts and some of those that are trying to give us shadows of what the beginning of the cycle looked like. But I mean, we're basically getting ready to write the story of another beginning of the cycle. And I think there's a reason why that stuff doesn't get carried into the second part of the cycle, because you have to relearn the same lessons. There's different soul groups that go through different lessons through time. And so even now you will see soul groups that are learning a certain amount of lessons, but maybe won't make it to the blossoming of this new cycle. I hope this makes sense for you guys. If you think about this and you're looking at the bigger picture, everything is trying to break down barriers in relationships so that you can co-create. Because I mean, you really don't impact your society as an individual. Now you can by teaching people and educating people about what's going on, but then that moves into actual physical co-creation of things that enable people to become more co-creative, which is what I'm attempting to educate on and partner with people so that people can learn. It's like, oh wait, we can co-create and create anything we want, right? So, you know, just do your best to educate yourself, right? What is it that I can do for me now to keep myself going, to you know, minimize the way that I negatively impact other people, and increase the way that I can positively impact other people, to lift them up, make them more independent so that they can take care of themselves, and then take that energy and keep pushing it into their community so that those communities can become more co-creative. And that's what will bring us through this next cycle. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.